right. Welcome back to another episode of the Doormats podcast. Welcome back to another episode. We're excited to have you guys, and we're excited just to catch up because it's been a few days.
I know. I have a few topics I saved to talk about with you, so I don't know.
Okay,
do you want me to just get right into it?
Yeah, just start by like.
Okay. Well, I have can I recap my week a little bit, or just
I was gonna say we'll start how's your weekend? How's your week?
Yes. So I guess the biggest things that have happened are my cats have been having some medical crises. And so I have a funny story that happened to me this week. I don't really know why I did it, but basically my cat Leo, he's 8. So he's been a huge part of my life, and I love him to death. He's
I remember when you got him.
Yeah, I know. And it's dawning on me that he's getting up there, and he still acts like a kitty. Aww. And if anyone knows me, I'm obsessed with my cats. I love my cats. And I went to go pet him earlier this week, and he got really grouchy with me when I pet his back. And he's never like that. He's very you can pet him anywhere, and he doesn't really care. So I was like, what's your deal? And so then I pet him some more, and he it was this same spot, and he kept being really sensitive. And I was like, that's weird. I was like, let me keep an eye on it. And then I went to go pick him up to put him on my bed, and he yelped, and he never does that. So I was like, okay, that's really concerning. So then I got really paranoid, because of course I'm just spiraling. And so then I'm calling my vet, and she's like, we actually have an opening today at 11. And it was I think it was 7 a.m. at this point. So I was like, okay, I'll take it. Just put me down. So then Leo's in my bathroom, just laying on my rug, and he just looked first of all, he's never in my bathroom. Usually that's just not a thing. And he was just kind of laying on my rug, really tired. And so I got in my head that he had this internal issue, that he had cancer or something. And I got I just spiraled, and I just sat on my bathroom floor petting him, and I just started crying. He's obviously doesn't probably know what's why, what are you doing? Yeah. But I'm sitting there petting him, being you're gonna be okay, it's gonna be fine, we're gonna get you checked out, nothing's wrong, it's gonna be okay. I was and then I literally out loud I was you cannot die, I was you just can't, I cannot live in a world where you were not in it, so that's not an option here. So I was so whatever's going on, we gotta get it fixed.
It's that meme of there was some show with a little boy that's no, because if that cat goes, then I go.
I know, seriously, I am. So then I take him to the vet, and it ended up being it wasn't an internal issue at all. He got
that's good
into something with the neighborhood cat, and he has a scar that was really sensitive, and luckily we caught it enough in time to where we just had to put him on antibiotics. But yeah, that was my
scary.
I overreacted for sure though. That was a low point of me on my bathroom floor, literally sitting there crying to my cat, being you can't die.
When your pets are acting differently though, I'm the same. I'm so paranoid. I just got a puppy. I just got it.
Yeah.
And I started we crate trained her, so she's good in the crate. So now I let her sleep in the bed with me. And it's just she's so precious. And then I will just be petting her and be the lifespan is 50. I was so when
I know, calculating.
You're gonna die one day.
Yes.
And I'm gonna just be here without you. And it's so it's just too much.
No.
But I get it. It's pets are family.
Especially child. Leo we got when I was I don't know, in beginning.
14.
Yeah, I was still young, and so I've had he's been there. It just feels he's just really been there throughout my life. So I'm not gonna cope well when he goes. And I was already you're only 8. I was we still got time. You can't.
Luckily you got 3 more. So.
No.
I'm just kidding. I know. But you guys do have a really strong bond. And then Scout too.
Yeah, so then my other cat, this was all in the span of a week too. I was why is when one of you is having issues, then they all have issues?
Yeah.
But my brother's dog got like Scout hides in places. So I guess he thought she was like away. And so he brought his dog up, and then Charlie like, attacked Scout and ripped out like 4 of her nails. So then I'm like paranoid, like, because I was like, technically that's an issue because it was a Sunday too. So of course, like our regular vet isn't open. So I had to go to like an emergency vet, and I was debating on taking her because I was like, I could wait one more day and take her to my regular vet, but I'm like way too paranoid of like a pet owner for that. So I was like, I don't know. I don't want anything to get infected. I don't want like her to be in pain.
She's traumatized too. Like you don't know what that's gonna do to her. So
I took her in, and that was that was like a lot of money, and it took some time. And so I was like, okay, can everyone just be okay? Can we all just like kind of calm down?
That's a lot.
That was a big part of my week.
Jeez, that's stressful. I'm glad they're okay.
I know. Me too.
They are sweet cats, and
they are very sweet.
So many of them.
There's 4, okay?
So you guys are definitely 4.
Like... We are a cat family, though.
It's so weird to me.
But they're so... Okay, you know them, and you don't even really like cats. Yeah. They're good cats.
Yeah, they're good cats.
They're very sweet.
I just don't
do that.
No, I think they're great.
They're so sweet. Most of my friends that come over... Like, and because Leo is just right off the bat, like, super affectionate. And people are always like, yeah, I normally don't like cats, but your cats are, like, so, like, sweet and, like, want attention and stuff. And I'm like...
I think that's true.
I pride myself in that.
Yeah, they're good. It's a good group. You got some good kids. Yeah, you raised them right.
My youngest cat, I talk about them like they're my kids. The youngest of the 4, he plays fetch.
Yeah, that is cool.
Freaking adorable.
Yeah, it's cool.
They're kind of viral on TikTok, so...
That's true. He's gonna be that. We're riding on his coattails.
Seriously. Honestly, I mean, he has a great personality. He's built for TV.
He is.
I could put him in commercials.
Yeah, he's cute. He does fetch. I've seen him do it, which is fun. But man, well, that sucks.
I didn't mean to go on that long of a rant about the cats. Honestly, I need to chill. Like, no,
people gotta know.
I can't make this my entire personality.
That's fine.
What about your week? How was it?
It was good. So I had over this past weekend I went to go see, I like stand-up comedy a lot. So I went to see Brett Goldstein.
Okay.
Which is, if you know Ted Lasso, he is Roy Kent.
Oh, no way.
And he does stand-up.
I didn't know he did stand-up. That's really cool.
He writes for the show, and he writes Shrinking too. So both really good shows.
Okay.
So I went to go see him, which was awesome. He was super fun. And we saw him at the Fox Theater. And it was just like, I don't know, like, and it's just so like typically like Midwestern to be like, that then their boy was on TV. One is like very like starstruck, and I'm like, he was on TV. That's crazy.
No, that is cool. That is like a really, it's a really cool experience. Even though
surreal. I've seen, that's the thing. I'm like, I was never someone like, we're going to concert. Like I never did anything like that. The first time I saw John Mulaney. His like tour right after he got out of rehab, he came to Michigan, and I
bet that was surreal.
It was so cool.
He's really
I was just like, this is crazy. But for that one, we accidentally I got the tickets off SeatGeek, and I've never done it before. And tell me why they sold me the like handicap seats. So they were like wheelchair accessible seats. Like they were good seats.
Are you allowed to buy those if you?
I guess. I think if it's like they're all sold out.
So I was gonna say, I feel like I just saw a TikTok of like people that purposely bought the handicap seats when you like weren't supposed to.
Yeah, they didn't.
People were like shaming them.
They didn't label them.
Could you imagine if people were like,
I would be so embarrassed if someone with like a wheelchair or crutches came in and we were just sitting there like
you should like specify on the ticket like, hey.
That's the thing. I was like, we had no idea, and then we just were finding our seats, and the ushers were like, okay, right there, and I was like, oh. And again, they're good, plenty of room.
If there wasn't anyone that needed them, and so they just
it was a sold out show, and then we bought them off of SeatGeek, so I don't know, but that was super fun. So it was cool to see him, and it was kind of like comedians range, and his was definitely like, he had some like raunchier jokes, and like the 50-year-old women were going nuts for him.
I love that 50-year-old women were going to his show.
He's fit, he's British.
That's so
and he's
funny.
making like these jokes that they like, we were right next to it. There was one in front of us and one behind us. They were like cackling like with glee. Like I'm trying to think of like one of the most, and I don't want to like spoil their content, but like one of the most heinous jokes that he would make, and they loved it. They were like eating that shit up. And then there was someone a couple rows in front of both of them that kept going shh, like just really? Shushing them, because someone also, their phone kept going off, and it was just like, but it was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed it. And, good catch up. I feel like we learned a lot about each other's weeks.
Yeah, well, I have another thing to talk about because I saw this article in my internet, whatever suggestions really said for you, because it was about people pleasing. And so I'm going to read some of what it says, and I just want your thoughts.
Okay, I'm ready.
And it's kind of funny.
It's official.
So I feel like this called me out a little bit. Okay, so this was an article from Psychology Today. And it's like describing people-pleasing traits. So just like, okay, I'll say the trait. You say yes or no if it applies to you.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. Starting out strong. Low self-worth.
Ooh.
I know that was kind of not the best one to start, but it's at the top.
This is hard to answer because it's like I know it's been lower, so I think that so I feel like a lot of progress has been made. So I don't want to diminish that by saying yes. I will say I struggle with that.
Okay.
At times.
Yeah. No, I would say I like struggle with confidence, but I wouldn't say I'm like super. Yeah. Okay. Accommodates everyone else's needs.
Yeah. That's courteous. Good host.
Yeah. Undermines her own needs.
I mean, we know that from last episode.
Yeah. For real.
I didn't eat yesterday, Dom.
Goes with the flow that's dictated by others.
Yeah.
I resonate with that one. Yeah. I'm really bad at people will ask, like, even just super casually, like, what do you want to eat, or where do you want to go, or like, do you have a suggestion, or like, do you have any preference on what we do? I immediately just default to no. Don't care. Like, that's literally don't care.
It's such a hard one because sometimes people will be like, no, like, pick something. And it's like, I maybe have a slight preference, but like in the grand scheme of it, I'm like, I will be like content doing whatever. And I know that other people won't. And so I'm like, in that scheme of it, like, I will be uncontent if I pick something that I like, knowing that other people aren't having it. Like, I won't be able to enjoy it. So that one gets tricky for me. Or even like, everyone knows I'm a very like picky eater. Like, I will try. Yeah. I'll try a lot of things. I just don't like a lot of things.
But that's my thing with you. It's so bad when we both have to decide. Like, it's just the two of us having to decide something. Because like, in my head, I'm thinking, you're a pickier eater than I am. So you pick anything and I'll enjoy it. But in your head, you're doing the same thing. So then we never, like, it's so hard for us to come to, like,
it's like, if we're eating, though, it's like, because again, like, I came from a very, like, suck it up family. So it's like, I will find something wherever we go. I know, but like, in my perspective,
I'm like, I do not care, genuinely.
Yeah, but you also have, like, more of, like, dietary things. Like, you like, take care of yourself more. So I'm like, I'll let you, like...
Not my, like, vacation or anything, I don't.
Yeah, that's true, that's true. We did, like, pretty decent on the vacation.
Yeah, no, I think eventually we were just like, okay, let's just pick.
Yeah, we were like, whatever's
like,
closest.
I'll give you 3 things, you just pick one. Okay, this one is too agreeable in general. I feel like that was the same as the go with the flow, but I would say, rarely says no.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Feels valuable when complying with others.
Oh, yeah. That's just like crack. I feel like I tell my therapist something.
You know that the first episode we were like, being doormats, sometimes it's fine. Honestly, reading some of this, I'm like, we got a lot to work on.
We need to send these and be diagnosed. I'm like, that's actually not a good No,
it's not.
I feel like that is where I get a lot of my self-worth, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I helped someone. I did good. Like, I'm like, I'm fulfilling purpose and stuff. Like, and that's what keeps me coming back. It's like a drug.
Oh, it is. Yeah. And it's so bad.
Yes.
But again, I feel like we're really similar because we were just raised really similar. Yeah. And I think, I don't know, I think the way, because we were raised like religious and, you know, there's undertones of that.
And by women that like had a lot of kids and did a lot of things. It's like you take on that like multitasker, do whatever you need to do type of a thing. Which
and I mean, like, the people we looked up to were those like super moms that did literally everything. Yeah,
which is great, but it doesn't have to be that way. I think that's what we...
Yeah, there's like not a lot of balance in that. Okay. Values praise from others. Yeah,
and I don't get a lot of it, and that's really hard.
That's almost worse, because then when you do get it, then it just fuels the like, okay, that's what I was waiting for. Yeah. Says sorry when no apology is required. Yeah,
that's a hard one for women in general. That's been talked about a lot, that women constantly apologize. It's a really hard habit to...
Yeah, and I read some book that was saying stop doing that. Like, really stop doing that, because when you say sorry, you're like admitting to fault that had nothing. Like there was no reason to. But I don't know. It's just like a compulsion or whatever.
I've been trying to get better at that. That's something, my therapist says too, is like, or I also feel the need to like explain everything. So if I don't text you back right away, if I don't this or that, I'm like, sorry, I was like, taking a shower. Sorry, I like was busy today, whatever. And it's like, you don't have to give an explanation. No one's even asked you for one. Like, so I really trying to get better at that and just be like, if I don't text someone back, be like, hey, yeah, that works for me. And then if they have a problem with it, like wait or whatever. But that one is, I start with texting because in real life, it's like, it's reactionary. Like I don't have time to think through not saying sorry.
Yeah. I think that's hard too with just being a girl too, is even when I think about like emails that I send, I'm like, how does this not come across like too short or too, and it's like guys that don't, like especially professional, like men don't have to deal with that. They can send what my male professors would send one word emails with a period.
Yeah.
That would kill me inside because I'm like, oh my gosh, they probably think I'm like a bitch or I'm like
that's another thing on TikTok where like people will say like a woman versus a man writing an email.
Yeah,
and it's just
like exclamation point.
Have a great day. And guys are just like, it will be done by noon.
Yeah. And that's fine. That's communicating. Yeah. But for girls, I feel like it is perceived. Like it's perceived different. Because if I get even for me, like perceiving an email from like a male professor versus a female professor, I might subconsciously, like if my female professor like responded to me really shortly, I'd be like, oh my gosh, is she like really upset with me? But if a male did that, I'd just be like, oh, like that's just hidden. So I mean, it's on me too. Like I feel like I don't know, like make up
contribute
that
to it.
Okay, this one says takes the blame when not at fault.
This one I really struggle with, and you know this from like issues I've had with like past friendships and stuff in the past where like something has happened where I was being attacked, and because I wanted peace, I like extend the olive branch first, but by doing that, I start by apologizing just to get us somewhere, and then they're like, thanks. And it's like, okay.
I was supposed to open the door.
That was supposed to be because you did something, and then it like I hold resentment later because I'm like, I actually didn't do anything wrong. I was trying to meet you in the middle, and I really, which is bad on my part too. Like I can't expect people to know what I'm thinking, so I have to like work on that, but I do that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I do that too. Makes excuses for the faults of others. I guess it depends on the situation.
I make excuses to myself, but to other people, I'm like, if they've wronged someone else, then I'm like, well, I say this is probably what they're thinking, but it's not an excuse. I do that for like other people, but when it comes to someone's done something for me, then I do kind of like explain it away and be like, oh well, they had a hard day or they're feeling this way.
Yeah, I mean, I think I do that too. Is I just like, I give people like maybe too many chances to where someone would be like, why was that not like a red flag? I'm like, no, they're like, were. Yeah. I just, didn't read the situation well. Has little self-awareness. This one, I don't know. I feel like I would want to think that I'm self-aware. But there's probably truth to that. We're probably not. I don't know.
You would think for a people pleaser, it would be that you have too much self-awareness because you're always like, what am I doing? How's that affecting other people?
Yeah, I don't know what that means in the context because I feel like sometimes I am like, maybe, I don't know if it's self-awareness, but like too aware of, how people perceive me. Like I'm like super in tune to like, oh my gosh, their facial expression looks slightly off or like whatever the situation is. So I don't know if that's self-awareness. Maybe I don't know the definition of self-awareness.
In the way that we're thinking of it, I would say no. I'd say I'm very like, trying to be self-aware all the time.
Okay, so then it kind of just like has some
like a BuzzFeed quiz.
No, it just has like a little some questions and answers. So it says let me see a few that I thought were interesting. What is at the root of people pleasing? So this article says, this person fears rejection or failure, which may be rooted in early relationships. Perhaps a people pleaser has a parent whose love was conditional. This child may have had to earn her parents' love and affection, or her parent was it's interesting that this is wrote with like she pronouns. Or her parent was unavailable emotionally, or the parent's availability was inconsistent. That's a lot.
Let that simmer.
Yeah.
No comment.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're both what do you call it? What do you call having
Sad.
parents? No, having parents from cultural background. What do you call that?
I mean, our parents are just ethnic.
Yeah, I guess having
different
like
Chinese, Mexican.
yeah. There's I feel like the expectations that
Yeah.
I don't know. We can skip that one. That one was a little too deep. Do people pleasers look for approval and validation from others? Yeah, this person wants assurance that now they're using he pronouns. That's really interesting. It's all over the
Make
place.
it even. Switch it.
Yeah, I don't know. This person wants assurance that he matters to the people around him. He doesn't look for validation from within. He seeks it everywhere else. He wants to be recognized and accepted by everyone. For the most part, if he feels well liked, he can relax and like himself as well.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah.
Pretty on the nose.
This is the point where I'm like, okay, people pleasing isn't a quirky little thing that I want it to be. Mm-hmm. It's like, I need to stop doing that. I need to stop looking for validation from other people.
That's the thing too. It's like all of these things that we're breaking down, like you were saying, like we wish it was just came from a heart of service, and that is a big part of it. But like all those prompts, all those things that we're breaking down, they're so inward focused. Yeah. So it is kind of like you can be a people pleaser and like kind of a narcissist at the same time. Yeah, and that's 100%. Me just throwing terms out here. I'm not trying to like.
Yeah, no, that's where I really think it's like, okay, that's something where I need to like work on that, because obviously I don't want to, and that's not where I think it's not fulfilling either. It's like you're not doing things out of service because you want to. It's because you think you need to fulfill these like other areas of validation.
It's being a martyr for no reason, and you're like literally living with less joy. So it's like it does need some balance.
Yeah. Okay. This one was interesting, which I want your honest opinion on this.
That's great. I feel like it's good. Whenever you do that, it's because you think it applies specifically to me.
Do overly giving people tell white lies to spare others?
Yeah.
Yes, you may catch your overgiving friend fibbing. He wants to liberate you of information that may feel hurtful to you instead of telling the entire truth. You may receive a modified version from your people pleaser. Generally, he does not want to hurt your feelings because he doesn't want to create displeasure for you. He does not share how he really feels. That is you to a T.
We've talked about this though, and I
know.
It's funny because like I remember just kind of like admitting that to you on, I think when we were on our little vacation, I just kind of brought it up like, yeah, she's gonna be right there with me. And you were like, kind of like,
no, I do that sometimes, but you do it like it's your bait, like you do it.
It's natural.
Yeah.
And I've talked about this before because I think I was with a group of like writer friends who were just talking about it. Someone was like, oh, so like, do you lie or whatever? Like everyone was like, oh, you would lie, this and that. And I was just like, yeah. And they were like, what? Because I think it's like, again, like we've talked about, like we're very like to be very like kind and sweet. And I think that people assume that like you're very like moral and like, yeah, I try to be. And I think that means like, oh, she cannot tell a lie. It's like, no, that's how I survive. I'm like, it's just like, and it comes from a place of not wanting to hurt people. Like I'm not gonna lie for like my own personal gain in the sense of like I'm trying to like steal from you or go behind your back, but it is like I'm trying to keep peace, and so that in a way that is my personal gain, because it's like I don't want to see you hurt. And there's certain things that are like, you don't have to be like bluntly honest all the time, but there are little things like, if someone got a haircut and they're super insecure about it because it looks bad, and I personally don't super like it, like I will just like without hesitation be like, you look great. Like, well, I don't even know why you're even like hesitating. Like you look great in anything. And it's like, is that the worst thing? No, but like it is a white lie, you know? It's like, and that's something that I've had to really like self-reflect and be like, okay, I need to take stock of it more, because I just do it without even thinking, because I'm like, they're hurting right now. Other people have said mean things. I'm not going to do that to them. Yeah. Like, here's the fix for it. But it is a problem to an extent.
I just feel like even as like one of your closest friends, I still don't. There's some times where I don't know if you're telling the truth in a way, like in just.
It's like, usually about like food and stuff too. It's like, is this okay?
Food, or like if I come, like sometimes I feel like if I come to you about something, I'm like, was I in the wrong? Like you would never say. But I would hope that, like, with me, you'd be honest, because, like,
I have an easier time when people are like, what would you do? Then I'll say, I would have done this because it's me. And then I'll say, but that's me. Like, you live your life however you want. I would have done it this way. And that's kind of my way of, like, differentiating, like, what I would have done is what I think is the right thing. And if you're not doing that, then I do kind of think you're wrong. But I'm not good at bluntly saying, like, yeah, I think you were, like, kind of a dick for that. Like, I will never say, I'll either say it nicer than that, or I will just say,
there
like,
are some people, like, with me, you could do that. With your sisters, you could do that. I feel like.
Yeah, it's easier if I know you. And sometimes it is that thing of, like, how involved do I want to be? Because if, like, because sometimes I will just listen. Because you can listen without objecting, and that makes them assume, like, oh, they think I'm right. And it's like, no, I'm just, like, it's not really my place, and I don't really care to be more involved in it. So, like, it gets kind of tricky like that, too. But, yeah, I definitely, like, that one's, like, super. And I've delved more into it more recently, but especially when I was, like, younger and stuff, like, 20, 21, it was, like, I didn't even think about it. Like, it didn't even faze me as being, like, a problem. I was just, like,
yeah,
this is what I'm going to say,
No, I will say, I mean, I also do that. And sometimes I've also, something I've been working on in therapy is, like, the whole thing of how much do I want to, because, like, the more I ask questions and the more I'm like, what's going on in these situations, like, with people that I'm close to, the more I'm obligated to kind of feel like I need to do that, or just like, so even just asking less questions or being less involved is kind of the solution I'm coming to at some point.
It's also, like, where's my safe place? Like, because that's the thing, like, with my, like, sister, it's like we're blood, like, we're, like, kind of bonded for life. So I feel like if I say something and, like, I'm afraid of how she'll react, it's like, well, I know we'll work it out eventually because we're siblings. But certain people, it's like, I do think you would cut me out. I do think you would hurt me and not care to fix it ever. And so then it's like, and it is like, well, and do you want that person in your life? Maybe not. But
well, that's the other,
it is like a slippery slope. I will say too, though, like, I feel like we're also so similar that usually when you tell me a situation, I'm like, I probably would have done like so it doesn't feel wrong to me. So maybe that is hard too.
That's fair. That's fair. Let's see. Are women more likely to be people pleasers? More women than men do fall in this category. Women are largely humanity's caretakers, and they are taught to be more passive, less aggressive. Plus, a people-pleasing woman will not likely be labeled high maintenance or difficult. She would rather bend over backwards than appear fussy. Yeah.
Well, you're trying to, like, network too, because now women are building careers, and you have to still kind of play these, like, dumb games of, like, not being labeled a certain way, because it is, like, I've talked about this too, with, like, parents that want to provide for their kids. It's like, you not only have to make them, like, you know, smart and make sure they get good jobs. I'm like, you have to make them likable, because that is, like, how you climb the ladder. If you're not likable, no one's gonna, like, take you to be their boss. No one wants to do that.
No, this makes a lot of sense. Like, I could have, like, guessed that more women than men are people pleasers. It's just the way that the nature of being a girl or being taught to act like a girl is very, like, self-serving and passive. And I mean, especially again, just the way that we were raised, like, that's exactly to a T, was like, we needed to kind of, like, shrink ourselves to, like, let the men's personality kind of fill the room. That's kind of how I felt a lot, like, as a kid. Anywho.
That was a good article. Like, there's some good.
Okay. Well, I just have the last. This was funny. This is what made me want to talk about it, because it says, are there other methods to stop people pleasing? I'm just going to, like, rapid fire. So think about your own needs first. Examine your intentions. Ask why you want to help others. That's what we kind of talked about. Yeah. Examine whether something triggers your helping behavior. Wait for the person to ask for help. Try asking others for their help. And the last one says, realize you can be friendly without being a doormat.
Nice.
Really called us out there.
Really called us out. Friend of the pod. Friend of psychology today.
The
friend of the pod. Some of those are harder than others. Like, the just ask for help is, like, definitely tough. But I think the question, like, why are you doing what you're doing? That's a good place to start, because it's internal.
Yeah. Or even, like, waiting for the other person to ask for help. Sometimes that's hard too, because it's like, I just want to make things, like, if someone's, like, venting to me about, like, their situation, like, my response is always like, okay, well, like, what can I do? Like, how can I help you? And sometimes it's like, okay, well, maybe they just need to vent, and that's okay. But, like, my first reaction is always like, okay, like, what can I do? Make it better? Like, I just don't want you to be in pain.
Definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, that was the article.
Good things to keep with it. I like it.
Yeah.
It was good.
I thought it was interesting. It really, I don't know, it articulated.
Didn't expect to be broken. My therapy is tomorrow. I didn't expect
My therapist is out this week, so that was good. That was good.
Impromptu.
Little exercise. Okay, well, the last thing I had was we started an email. I made us an email. It's called yourlocaldoormats@gmail.com.
Great.
So emails, but we got a submission.
Already?
Yeah.
This podcast isn't even out yet.
Okay, it may or may not be my friend. But I'm going to read it.
Our
and she
first
wants
listener
some
letter.
advice.
Oh.
But I will say, like, you can email. The whole point of the email is, like, email us your fun, like, doormat stories.
Yeah.
And, you know, we can just, like, read them aloud.
Or questions or whatever, yeah.
You can email anything, honestly. No hate mail, please. We're too fragile for that. So she says, "Hi, girls. I love watching your show. You have such a great dynamic." I love her. She's, like, such a real one for this. I really resonated with what you talked about in the last episode.
Did she watch both of them? She hasn't seen one. She watched none of this.
This is such a ride or die.
Did she watch your TikToks, maybe? So she probably hasn't even seen me.
No, she's seen the TikToks. But that's so funny that she said that, because that was just straight up lie. And thought I'd share my own story to see what your takes are. I've been dating my girlfriend for 2 years, and everything was going great. However, I started to notice her constantly making me feel unvalued and taking other people's sides over mine. Everything finally blew up at a party a little while ago. She invited a friend of hers who we'll call A, and she brought her own girlfriend. Let's call her D. D and I used to be friends and would occasionally go to the bars together. That is until one night she took my purse while I was intoxicated and paid her tab on my debit card.
Ooh.
I was so upset. I didn't talk to her for a long time, but lo and behold, she was at this party. I tried to talk to my girlfriend about how I was feeling uncomfortable with D being there given she had stolen money from me. My girlfriend then proceeded to put her hand over my mouth and tell me to shush because I was ruining her night. I should have said something, but instead I just said okay and the night went on. Was I actually ruining the party by bringing this up? Let me know what you think.
Is this a real story or fake?
It's real.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it's real.
I was going to say, wow, that was really crafted.
No, she told me about this.
This is real?
Yeah. The crazy part is she stole money from you.
Yeah.
Like, that's...
Okay, wait, you might have to help break this down for me because with the different... So the girlfriend's friend stole money?
Yes, so the girl... So, her girlfriend's, friend, is... Sorry, wait, let me clarify. She invited a friend of hers who we'll call A, and she brought her own girlfriend. Let's call her D. Okay, so A's the girlfriend, A's the friend, and D's the girlfriend. The girlfriend is the one. The girlfriend of the friend. Yeah. I don't think it really matters in the context of the story. But D is the one that stole her money. And then she obviously, like, because I think the point is the party was at her house, and... So really, D didn't have... Like, you could have invited a friend without inviting the girlfriend of the friend.
That's just, like, again, that's, like, really crossing it. Like, you're bold to steal money from, like...
Yeah.
A friend of a friend type of a thing. Like, you're not even, like, close to the... I don't know how you justify that.
No, that's, like... And that's, like, a red flag in terms of just being a bad person. Like, I would never steal someone's... Like, use someone's debit card when they're intoxicated. Like, even if you think you could get... Like, let's say they were so drunk that you think you could get away with it, they wouldn't remember. Why?
Yeah. That's the thing. That stuff bothers me, too, because I'm like... If you're broke, you don't get to come to the party. Yeah. Like, some people just show up, like, well, I have money. It's like, well, then you don't get to just come out and party and stuff. Like, it's like, you're an adult.
Yeah.
You make financially responsible decisions. If you can't afford it, you can't afford it.
Yeah. That's crazy. Well, and then I guess the other thing is she's asking because technically it's not her girlfriend's fault that, you know, she got money stolen from. But I do think, like, I would want my significant other to back me up in, like, even I would go to say, maybe this is too far, but, like, you should be defending me. Like, you should be, like, if anything, I would, like, hope my significant other would be like, hey, like, you like, cross the line. Like, pay her. Yeah. But, well, I mean, I guess it's technically not their fight, but, like, I don't know.
Well, just to even, like, not even want to hear her out. Because like you said,
Yeah.
sometimes people just need support or to vent, and to like the putting your hand over your mouth is
that would
wild.
set me off.
That is like so, and that's like publicly humiliating too, because it's kind of that thing of like calm down type of a thing where it's like you do that in front of people.
Let me say this: if you were in the girlfriend's shoes, what would you do as a people pleaser?
I think if it's like if she was making a big scene, I can see where maybe that is like a little bit much, and I think it would be like I would be like, whoa, what's going on, and then be like, let's go talk outside. You know,
like so that it's not her feelings,
but stuff. It's like putting a hand over my mouth is wild. Oh, that would actually make me mad. I think I would. Don't touch me. We're that mad.
I will say, like, my people pleasing is less bad when it's not. It has to do with me. Like, if I have to defend someone on behalf, because I think again that comes to like, okay, like I'm putting someone else's needs for, like, I'm more likely to defend someone than like defend myself. So like, if my significant other was in a situation where like they felt like wronged, like I think I would be okay, like defending them, obviously, like be more outspoken.
Yeah, I don't think she's wrong I don't think she's ruining the night. How does that ruin your night? You're just voicing concern. I think the night got ruined when she invalidated your feelings and did that. But I would say maybe pull your girlfriend aside and just explain like, hey, I needed you to back me up there and support me. And it's serious. It doesn't make me feel comfortable.
That's kind of a side rant, but I think it will be interesting to see like what our personalities change when we're like mothers, because I think we both have like very motherly instincts. And I will say, like, I know I mentioned I worked at like a summer camp, and the most confrontational I've ever been in my life was defending those girls, because I was like, you're not going to talk to them like that. Like they were like my, I'm like protective of them. And I think that's really interesting, like to think about. It's like, why can't we carry that same energy like defending ourselves? It's like it's just different. Like when it's to someone that you love and care about and want to like protect, I don't hesitate. Whereas like if it's trying to defend myself, I hesitate. I'm like,
I'm even like that with like my little sister sometimes. I'm like, ain't nobody gonna touch my baby. Like,
I will mama bear. I will come out. But when it comes to anything with me, I'm like, let me think. Is it worth it? But I will not hesitate. When it comes to like, defending like, especially like kids.
And we hope your girlfriend does that for you, listener. Thank honestly, you for sending that story.
And it's okay to expect more. I mean, I would have a conversation and be like, I did not like the way you handled that. And I expect more next time.
Like, you set the bar for how you want to be treated. It's your life. So if that's not it, that's not it. But thanks for the story, listener. Update us on what happens next.
And keep sending those stories in.
And I think with that, that's going to bring us to the end of this episode.
I think so.
I think that sounds good. Thanks for hanging out with us as we had a little catch-up chat. We'll have more structured ones and also more laid-back ones in the future, but we hope that you'll keep up with us, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.